Now, in this part, I'm going to take you through his nutrition strategy for fat loss and his steps and cardio protocol and how we managed to take it step by step in order to see weight loss happening every week. So after the prime phase, we focus on shifting away from a structured meal plan. Initially, when I start with any client, I try to have a rigid approach. The reason is we need to have a structure initially to make sure that he or she is following a plan and not deviating away from it. So a structured meal plan initially, and then after that, once the client gains the trust and once I trust that the client can track the calories and track on apps, and of course through my education to them, they can then shift away from a structured meal plan and start focusing on tracking calories. So for Khalid, usually most of my clients would follow a slightly slower approach, but Khalid was really ready to make the change. His calories were 22 multiplied by his body weight. So initially he was at around 2,200 calories because after the prime phase, the 4 to 6 week of prime phase, he was at around 100 kgs. So in order to get his starting calories, I multiplied 22 into his weight in kgs, which gave me 2,200. A lot of times I would do 25 times 100 or 28 times 100, anything in between that would also be fine. This would provide me with an initial estimate of his starting calorie deficit. Next, after getting the calories, we calculated the protein intake. The protein was around 1.5 to 2 grams per kg. That's the amount of protein that we need in order to make sure that we are maintaining muscle mass. So, protein at 1.5 to 2 grams per kg of body weight. For Khalid, that was something around 170 grams. And sometimes if we have a client that really struggles with eating enough protein, we would reduce this number. So we would go with 1 gram per kg and then slowly make sure that we are increasing that. So once we set the calories and protein, next the carbs and fat we can be very flexible with. Research shows that whether we go lower carb and higher fat or higher carb, lower fat, as long as the calories and protein are equated, we do not need to worry about the rate of fat loss. Both diets, as long as the calorie and protein are equated, whether you go higher with carbs or higher with fats, the weight loss or the fat loss will be similar. The only difference would be the performance. So, of course, if you are having exercises that are high intensity or doing some high rocks based training or a lot of running, then you would definitely need to go higher with carbs. If you are not really pushing yourself in the gym, not really intense, you don't need that much carbs. So, this will depend on number one, preference, and number two, how much your body needs and how are you and the demands that you are putting on your body. After setting the nutrition strategy for fat loss, we followed this simple steps and cardio protocol. 8 to 10K steps after focusing on consistently getting 6,000 steps as a bare minimum during the prime phase. So in the prime phase, Khalid had 6,000 steps as a bare minimum to start with. And then once we agreed that he could consistently be at 6,000 steps, we managed to increase this to 8 to 10,000 steps in order to increase the calorie expenditure. Now, why do I focus a lot on steps? Number one, you don't need recovery from it. You don't need to do a high intensity workout, just walking, whether it's in a mall, whether it's parking a bit further away from the entrance of a mall, or walking your pet, or going up the stairs instead of using the elevator. Everything counts as exercise. Now, this is called NEAT or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and it burns a lot of calories throughout the day. So it's something that you can do any time of the day, doesn't require a lot of recovery, and every 1,000 steps on average burn around 50 calories. So if you get 10,000 steps, you're going to burn around 500 calories. After this, we started with minimal cardio and low intensity steady state. So not high intensity cardio, because usually on a fat loss phase, if we go too intense with the cardio, this may potentially increase hunger levels. So the cardio was low intensity steady state on a bike or on the Stairmaster or on an incline treadmill, and it was 20 minutes 2 times per week post workout, so 40 minutes total of the week. Of course, as he got leaner, we had to reduce the calorie intake but also increase the calorie output or the cardio output. So we had to increase this gradually over time. Literally every week, I would increase it by 10 to 15 minutes, and then we got up to 150 minutes of cardio across the week. So this was his steps and cardio protocol. Now, just to recap again, with Khalid, everything we did, we first focused on the starting point. What are the habits that are stopping him from achieving the change? Then we did the discovery week, which took him through everything, and we started introducing slight, small habits that will allow him to believe in himself and allow him to gain momentum. And then we build that momentum and accelerate fat loss by seeing results every single week, as you can see on the picture here. And after that, we go through the sustain and thrive phase to make sure that he's doing a reverse diet, maintaining his weight loss, and also thriving in the gym. And finally, we focus on keeping this and maintaining this and doing new performance goals. Instead of focusing on the weight, we implement new performance targets. For example, lifting a heavier weight or reaching to a certain personal best in the gym. These are all performance goals that will allow my clients to look forward to going to the gym. And finally, this was his nutrition strategy for fat loss. We started with his calories at 2,200, protein at around 170 grams, and then the steps and cardio. Initially, the steps were at 8,000 steps. Of course, in the prime phase, it was around 6,000, increased to 8,000, and then to 10,000 or more if he could do that. And then we went into the cardio, started at 40 minutes total of the week, and then as he got leaner, we increased it up to 150 minutes across the week at the end of his cut. And this is exactly the step-by-step process that I used to achieve this incredible transformation with my great client, Khalid. Thank you for listening to this, and if this was helpful, just let me know by sending me a message after watching the video.